We dey get big wahala. By 2030, Freetown and upline, then population get for choke bad one. Because of this, water supply no dey due during the dry season.
Because it's part of the Sustainable Development Goals, it's a right for every human being to have access to pipe-borne water within his or her environment.
But small improvement don't dey happen within the wash sector. The rate at which return don't dey big, don't make we environment and city planning need serious investment with proper planning. Because of this problem, the Minister of Water Resources don't agree for letting commission one roadmap where the ministry don't put out for let them extend the wash services now all it on there by 2023. This is now part of the government's national development agenda along with the UN Sustainable Development Goals.
The urban roadmap we've spent quite some time developing it. It's going to be like a compass for us. It will set out the pathway to help transform the wash sector, to deliver better urban services.
When we have this roadmap, it will provide the direction, what to be done, how it will be done, who to cater for, what to be provided to the key stakeholders, the people, within the time period.
Phase one is really around encouraging government to do what they can with what they have, focusing on making the sector more efficient, more effective, and more unified. And we would hope that this will give greater confidence to external donors so they can attract increased investment to extend water supply infrastructure.
Wash professionals then from all sides of the country together for put the ideas on how to assist the development plan.
Feel free that you contribute to the roadmap so we can be able to implement our wash programs. Remember, the journey of a million man starts with a step. And here we are. We hope by 2030, all of us will be comfortable where we are with wash programs. Thank you very much.
Program Manager, Integrated National Waste Management, Ministry of Health.
Hello, Guy, WashNet, Water Transition Hygiene Network, Region of Africa.
I'm Usman Bamura, Water Processing Engineer, Sabaku.
The majority of the poor Saloman they live in the rural areas. But soon, the urban wash will become very important as the balance between urban and rural population go shift. UNDP data and projections they show this shift, including the predictions say majority of Saloman go live in the urban center by 2035.
We have to consider that there are major movements of people towards urban areas. The consequence of that, one of the consequences, is land degradation, and that really affects the water and sanitation provisions. So the very first issue that one have to do is to improve the collaboration of the sectors that in fact give such a service.
Salonga 12 River Basin and water resource area. Although we can get boku rain, plenty river water they waste and can end up na the sea. This not because Salon get very small water storage like den dam. Salon need for create water storage and protect the areas from the one day where they encroach the land.
This facility here is the main facility we have for Freetown. So the first thing we're trying to tackle is address the leakages. If you go to Freetown, you see all these long spaghetti lines that have been put in over the years. So now we're working very hard to try and minimize the volume of water that we're leaking. Strategically, what we're trying to do is bring in bigger sources like the Roque River project, the Orugu project, the Congo Dam project, and even to augment this facility so we can get more.
For our project, the government is doing some counterpart financing, so we are procuring pipes and other fittings for some of the distribution networks, and Gooma Valley Water Company will be installing using local contractors, so we obviously need the Ministry of Finance to provide the co-financing commitments. We also need their support on the payment of compensation to project-affected persons under the project, and that calculation is being done at the moment.
Inside Freetown, 90 to 95% of the people then they use latrine or toilets. Then the two-way toilets now side are not supposed for toilet or can left the latrine where don't full up. Inside town, we get with sewage system where they go directly into the sea.
A key problem really is disposition of fecal matter. Because most homes do not have the right sanitary way of disposing that. Now there is enterobacterial explosion and increase, which affects everyone in particular. So that, again, has to be managed and managed well. But I think if we bring in the communities, get the communities to be frontline in achieving these issues, we would be able to achieve quite a bit within a shorter period of time.
Apart from all this, when our environmental issue, plenty disease can then at the bomber sites then.
The dirty na one, the water na two, the smoke na three. Because we water no dey, na make the smoke dey boko. Because if you water dey, we will get pipe there for hot fire.
So they go play with dirty, syringe go choke you, na your hand. Put your other man on 3 doors, put you dirty that all who they play with them.
I get cold, I get pain. You see, with the NLD smoke here, the that all day na ya. In the morning we not get no other way for do.
Then see half of secure all the sick now we need get clean water. So my heart for sicko, but we dey drink them dirty water. It is sick fast.
The dirty first alone, you don't overcome the one no place. So this moment need for transfer. They pin out free side. You say people go to dirty, comfortable, come out in peace. No problem.
The EPA is collaborating closely with the Freetown City Council in terms of trying to identify another location for the waste where they can build a proper engineered landfill so that with the situation we have currently, which is really just ad hoc dumping, does not continue into our future. Of course, such a thing takes time and it needs to be done properly, but this is something that the EPA is working closely with in conjunction with Freetown City Council.
As dry season don dey reach, the need for water don plenty. Since most parents then they go find money, na the pikin and they can left forget water for the host them.
We dey suffer for water. We dey grab 3 o'clock. We dey carry left rubber. We dey go eat sokolo. We come back. If flight no dey, we need get water. If credit back no dey, we need get water. We dey go them main street, Melaton, so return Leicester, we for no more for water. Even me, I can late for go school near my company in the area. We dey call the ring 12:45 until they go school and 1:30 because of water getting. Say I dey ready for go school, I don't tire. Like today, so I'm not even tired because I don't do all my work there. I got to go wash, I got to go whip, I dey sweep a pack. They tell me mama ready for car. I want Papa government help me. Education and come first, but if water no dey, I go able for worse for go school.
We still have a challenge in service delivery. We have realized that the best tool for monitoring services at the local levels are citizens themselves. As you saw in the presentation, the role of citizens to voice out, to speak on these issues. Because this is at the heart of what His Excellency the President has been talking about, effective service delivery. Whether it is in WASH, whether it is in agriculture, whether it is in education, this is something at the center of affairs for this government.
Then be set the Electricity and Water Regulation Commission in 2014 for make sure say we go get long-term water supply where it go be cost-effective.
We want to make sure utilities remain viable by making sure they recover some of the costs that they incur during provision of the services. At the same time, we want to make sure they treat the consumers fairly so that everybody will have access to quality supply of services.
Because the city in population they grow and people they encroach on land, we they get bad disaster like the one inside 2017 when I be that bad mudslide. We need to take action before other bad disaster happen. Because wash service is not reliable, this don't make big issue for business development.
You see, water is the key of any restaurant. Without water, sufficient water, you cannot make a restaurant. You cannot please anybody in the restaurant because your restaurant will be always zero because you cannot able to operate. When customer come in, he can't see any good health, any good sanitation. Customer no candy. He go come once, he look your toilet, he look you kitchen, he look you outside setting. If you're not good for that, you no come.
On this occasion, on behalf of the Ministry of Water Resources, we are here to launch one of the building blocks needed to achieve SDG 6 for Sierra Leone. This building block is called the Urban Wash Roadmap.
As the saying goes, water is life. For development to be sustainable, water resources management has to be at the center.
Chairperson, the country's way forward for the wash sector is now fully defined. Given that the Urban Wash Roadmap effectively complements the Rural Water Supply and Sanitation Program, which was developed by the Ministry of Water Resources with financial support from the African Development Bank and DFID.
MCC will continue our work in the water sector through the district metering area works program and also the kiosk pilot program in those district metering areas also. And in addition, we also have the results-based financing program that it set up incentives for the Guma Valley Water Company. From the beginning, the government of Sierra Leone, through the Ministry of Water Resources, Ministry of Health and Sanitation, Ministry of Local Governments, have guided this effort through numerous consultations all around the country with all stakeholders.
Thank you for that.
They don't launch the roadmap journey for the wash sector, which could be the first na salon. This na clear vision of wetin can happen for make people then life better when they move to the city them. This project they also show wetin need for happen for reduce the damage to the environment and make the place safe and healthy for the future generation them.
If we get water na bomea, go find for we, especially with the belly money, because anything happen to they affect the young one. Without water, man not able to live. If you eat safe, you not get water. I go able sustain. So water na life.